would you walk away this time? If you had it all, would you look the fall in the arms? Or would you walk away this time? Do you realize, do you recognize it's never over? Or would you walk away this time? 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Will we rise above the days to come? Will it be enough? Or will you walk away this time? Look to your left, to your right, they're by your side. 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light.
Gentlemen, and welcome to a Division 2 match between ELF22 and Roskilde Esports. I'm Kaczka and I will be bringing you this series today with the Let's See. Hello? Alright, tell me when you're here. For now, I'll just talk. So, we've got a Division 2 match on our hands. T2 and Roskilde, both teams currently sitting in the middle of the table in Division 2, will be looking to pick up some points today. Well, I'm hoping for a very close series. We'll have to see how it will turn out. Alright, I think, let's see, something might be happening with your microphone. I'm not sure. I think you're speaking, but I can't hear you. Joe apparently cannot hear you. Technical issues, I'm sorry everyone. But I think we've got a very exciting match. I will try to hold on for a while. Solo today, since, as I mentioned, both of these teams currently sitting around in the middle. Both of them really want to pick up some points, and there are some many interesting things to look forward to. One that I personally really want to see is Totot, because this guy, he really liked his hyper carries, and he has had some great games on Tristana or Twitch, and recently he started playing more of a early game kind of champions like Draven, Lucian, Ezreal. So I'm looking forward to see what he will pick up and how will he perform on that.
Yeah, sorry about that. Is my mic working now?
It is.
Okay, there we go. I don't know what the issue was there, but I seem to have fixed it. So yes, these teams are looking very, very interesting here. Definitely keep an eye on Tot. We've seen him just pop off on the Tristana, so keep an eye on that. If we get to see him on the Tristana, we're going to be seeing a great game.
Definitely, but then on the other side also Roskilde, they have some nice things to look forward to. I'm personally looking for that mid laner and the jungle, because Flawless, he likes to play the carries, all sorts of carries, Lee Sin, the Zhao maybe as well, and Kha'Zix, whereas Bent, he can play the Assassin's mid lane. He can also play the Lissandra, which I think is more likely pick considering the meta, but fingers crossed for something like maybe a Katarina. It would be good to see.
Watching a Katarina is always just so fun, them blinking around the map and everything. And I haven't gotten to see either of these players, Ben or Flawless, play, but watching a Lee Sin kick his way around the map is also just incredibly, incredibly fun.
It definitely is, and guys, we are just a minute away roughly from going into the actual picks and bans. So let's get excited for some match. Hopefully we will be seeing some 3 games today. We also talked about Lee Sin, Flawless, being super active around the map. I'm looking at what P666 can do in return, because he can pick many things. He has played many things, and looking at his profile, it is actually hard to determine what kind of champions he likes specifically, but something like a Nocturne would be good for those ganks, and if he can pull it off, then that is a champion that can ruin many of the plans.
Absolutely, but like you said, we are just going to have to see in the Champ Select, which we are going to be getting into soon. So probably we're going to be seeing, you know, let's talk about ADCs for a little bit. Normally, our sort of 3 top ADCs right now, Kai'Sa, Lucian, and Ezreal, and we've also been seeing Vayne pop in there every once in a while. So probably we're either going to be seeing Kai'Sa or Lucian being played, or banned, depending on what they decide to do. We may be seeing something a little bit interesting come out of the teams, because there has been a little bit of a rise in non-ADC characters bot lane. So stuff like, we've even seen like Mordekaiser, or Vlad was a long time ago, but something like that wouldn't be too much of a surprise, but it would be very interesting to see. So we're going to start off with a Morgana ban.
We will be seeing that Morgana ban targeted away against Kawaii, who does like to play many of those different support styles. He usually fits in very well with Todol. If Todol goes for a hyper carry, he will play this protective support and aggressive supports matching the aggressive AD carries. The cannon ban as well, targeted against Big Gang, and that is a champion we have seen lately more and more, and specifically yesterday Tyne had used it to a very great extent, so we will not be seeing that. It will be banned instead.
And like you said, the Kai'Sa following up with the ban as well. Morgana Kai'Sa is such a strong duo, so once again, not a real surprise. The other champion that's really, really strong with a Morgana would be something like a Katarina. But this probably means that we're going to be seeing a Lucian ADC come out of here, since we haven't seen that get banned away yet.
Yeah, what we have seen being banned away is that Lee Sin, as you said, flawless, can play that champion. So T2 just removing that, and Aatrox will be locked in for Big Gank.
So having the Aatrox up there in the top lane, incredibly, incredibly powerful, because he is such a carry laner. He is incredibly valuable in team fights. If he uses his ult correctly, then he is able to engage on top of people without fear of really repercussions in many ways, because he can just revive and get away.
Actually, this looks like it is the Kassadin top lane. Just to clear it out to you guys, we are watching the teams go through the pro draft in the champion select right at this point. Therefore, the picks are in order. So Kassadin in the top lane, and then a Mumu jungle for P666 against his Xin Zhao. Both junglers, they can make the ganks happen. So how does that dynamic work out?
Well, a Mumu cannot really duel someone by himself, so Flawless should have the free reign of the jungle here, should be able to just do pretty much whatever he wants for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and it's going to be in the team fights where P666 will really be able to bring that Amumu out to its full capacity.
Right, and as we progress with the draft, the side of Roskilde, they locked in themselves the Galio, which, well, it has seen style of a downsurge compared to how strong it was. It was picked yesterday by Tyne as well, and I believe, and their mid laner used it to great effect. So I'm looking to see if Bend can also make these roams happen and the ganks, because in Zhao Galio, you already have a pretty strong mid game engaged duo for Roskilde.
I mean, having that Galio will give them a little bit more of that team fight that their enemy T2 have with that Amumu. Galio is not only a very strong mid laner, but that ultimate is such a good way to clear out a space and to turn a fight around. You either force the enemy to get outside of this huge circle on the map, or they get damaged and knocked up. And with Galio moving away from a tank character and more towards more bursty, slightly tanky mage character, that is going to lean a lot towards just the damage that he can do.
Right, and Todot actually picking up a Yasuo in that bot lane. That is a very different flavor to what we are used to. He will lock that in for himself. And how do those non-standard AD carries really square up in that bottom lane, especially considering that X-Perks now is sitting on a Lucian?
Well, he's going to have to be incredibly careful about just taking too much poke damage whenever he's farming. That's going to be the hard part here. But since Kawaii Durhus is playing the Alistar, he has that knockup available to him, a reliable knockup to proc his ultimate. So this could work out very, very well for him. Also, Yasuo does have the wind wall for Lucian's ultimate. So if Lucian tries to ult Yasuo under tower, he can just throw up that wind wall and stay behind it and not have to worry about taking a lot of damage.
And that will be very, very helpful. Now, taking a slightly broader look at the entire compositions. On the side of T2, you've got some engage, you've got some nice AoE, and then you've got the castle win once we hit that late game. What are their win conditions? How do T2 go about winning this game 1?
For T2, it is all about the team fight here. They have to play incredibly carefully during their laning phase. Just try to get farm, try to get your items, but don't go for kills, because chances are you're not going to be able to get them. Maybe Tot in that bot lane will, but you're going to have to rely on that for all of your laning pressure. Because Amumu has a pretty good gank, but you know it's easily blocked by minions. His bandage will get stopped by minions, whereas Xin Zhao doesn't have to worry as much about that. And things like that. They just really have to push towards that team fight.
Right, and you know, you just briefly mentioned Xin Zhao, but Flawless has got that option of invading P666 relentlessly, because that is such a strong duelist. And when you look at Aatrox and Galio, these lanes should, in theory, I mean, definitely the mid lane should be pushing out the Orianna. Not entirely sure about the top lane, so you will also have that support. So P666 could potentially get starved out of his own jungle if Flawless plays it really well.
That is what he will want to do, because otherwise he's not going to be as useful in team fights. You know, whenever we see Xin Zhao, he pretty much doesn't do much after about 20 minutes. At that point, Xin Zhao just doesn't really have much in his kit available to him. So he's going to have to focus on making sure that P666 is not going to be capable on the Amumu, because he's going to be so behind in farm and that sort of just map dominance.
Definitely, and now we are just waiting for the spectator delay, guys. About 2 minutes until we load into the game, so let us know in the chat who do you think will take the game 1 or the entire series. Will it be Roskilde? Will it be T2? I'm looking forward to see. And now, as we turn more towards that Roskilde lineup, you know, we talked about T2, Roskilde on the other side. We already talked about the jungle. Xin Zhao should have the earlier ganking possibility and easier execute, as well as the invade. You also have got that Lucian in the bot lane, so what exactly will Roskilde try and do in order to win this game 1?
It should be pretty easy to poke out the Yasuo here. Tot doesn't have any sort of range available to him besides the tornadoes, which aren't up all the time, and it's a skill shot. So it should be pretty easy for Experts to not only be ahead in farm, but also be able to poke out Tot, maybe even be able to get a kill on him. And if Kawaii and Tot decide to go in, then Jacobson on the Tahm Kench should be able to use his Swallow to get his ADC expert back to his tower, or at least away from the enemy team.
Alright, then bot lane is where we will be looking at to see if Todot will be able to survive the laning phase, because, you know, as a player, he always has been tending towards more of those late game team fights with picks like Twitch and Tristana. Just get those items, get into these fights, and just obliterate the entire team. This game, he has got that good setup, but he is put in a matchup, as you said, where X-Perks will have that opportunity on the illusion to win that lane. So my eyes are partially there to see how Todot will perform, because let's be honest, Yasuo is not something we are used to seeing him play. It is something new, something that I'm excited, honestly, to see Todot pull out, and how he will perform. That is all questions that we will have answered as we are slowly but surely loading into the Rift.
Yep, and let's take a very brief look at this top lane. So Aatrox versus Kassadin. This is going to be really interesting. Aatrox does use several spells in order to farm. His Devastating Blades are used to easily get a backline with that little bit of range that it has and stuff like that. So that should charge up Kassadin pretty well and allow him to deal that extra damage with his, I believe it's his E ability. We don't get to see Kassadin a whole lot, so I don't have those abilities to sort it out in my head as I'd like to. But this should give Kassadin opportunity to pop off fairly well. So this really could go either way. I think it's really going to be a test of skill. I love seeing these more unconventional picks in the top lane.
I also just got an idea. It could be also swapped down into the mid lane if you think about it, because Kassadin is much better into AP champions, and Orianna into Aatrox, it isn't necessarily such a bad matchup, because Kassadin's passive, it blocks 15% of the incoming magic damage, or it's either 15% or the number scales, but it blocks magic damage. Aatrox doesn't deal any, so if you can put Vulgar Disposal down into that middle lane, it could be also a viable strat we will see T2 go for. But as we are, I think, finally going into the Rift, we will have all those questions answered as ELF, T2 and Roskilde will face off in a game 1 of this best of 3.
Well, I'm not quite loaded in. There we go. I am now loaded in, so we will be seeing that briefly. Everyone's just buying their items and going to their spots. For now, it seems like that Aatrox is going to be going to the top lane.
It does, and the teams are looking for some sort of a standard cover. I thought I saw Jurgensen actually go up towards the top side, and it looks like the Orianna might be put there, as I just mentioned, you know, which is interesting because, well, I mean, we don't get to see Kassadin top lane, but at least that is an Orianna, and those matchups are slightly different, so many things to be seen as not much action at the level 1 happening.
I mean, to be fair, Orianna isn't much of a top laner either, so it is still pretty interesting to see her going up there. Jurgensen, if he can pull that off, it will be pretty fun to watch. And you definitely do want to keep an Aatrox from really popping off. He is such a powerful champion in the late game. We've seen him rampaging through worlds. So, you know, he isn't as strong as he used to be, but you really do have to keep him on a collar.
You do, and a snowballing Aatrox is a scary one, which actually brings me to another point, which is that Orianna, she is fairly gankable, especially if Flawless decides to pay attention up into that top lane. Therefore, Roskilde, they could just focus around that lane to get big gank the kills, or even Flawless, and a snowballing Aatrox or a Xin Zhao is a scary one. That is yet another way with which Roskilde can build up an early lead.
Yeah, so at the beginning, fairly boring start. No invades, no poking really, just really standard going to their lane. So now it is time to see if these predictions that we had play off like we expected them. And if we look at this bot lane very, very briefly, what I was saying before about Tata getting picked out a little bit is showing true, although Kawaii is able to heal him back up using that Relic Shield.
Yeah, Alistar's passive is also really good for that extra bit of sustain. Actually, Total and Kawaii will hit level 2 first, which will be equalized quickly by the bot lane of Roskilde, which means that no major advantage will be found, but so far so good. Total isn't really too scared about that range disadvantage he's finding himself at.
So Flawless is able to get the first Scuttle Crab. It would be really difficult for P666 to really contest those a whole lot because he can't take them out very quickly. Now it looks like we're getting a gank into the mid lane.
We are a ton landing onto Vulgar Disposal, immediately forcing the flash from the Kassadin as in the top lane. Jurgensen, he's hitting a whole lot of damage, and the electric hit from Big Gang is enough to secure the first blood.
And that's, as we were talking about, Orianna isn't much of a top laner, and oftentimes that is characterized. Top laners are either able to escape from a tricky situation, or they are able to tank it through or have some way to CC an enemy. Orianna doesn't really have those things available to her. The best thing that she has in that way is an ultimate, and she doesn't have that right now. She's only sitting at level 3.
Yeah, and Big Gang is just doing a good job of punishing Jurgensen so far, and Flawless, if he decides to pay some visit into the top lane, could be a big move as well. As now T666, he is looking for a potential top lane gang. Big Gang has got the flash. He is on half HP though. Infernal Chains connect onto Jurgensen. He is pulled back. P666 comes in. There is the Slow of the Red, a flash away from the banish. To Flawless is there to help, but Big Gang doesn't need any help. Summoner still taken away.
Wasn't quite able to predict that bandage shot quite as well as he wanted to, but even if he had managed to land it and go in, chances are it would have been a problem since Flawless was there to follow up. So that is going to burn the teleport from Big Gunk, which puts the 2 top laners even on summoner spells at least. But instantly, a ton of damage going on here.
And the flash is forced from the Orianna. Good play from Big Gang. That just opens up yet another lane. Now, if you look at both solo lanes, they have got no flashes. And Vulgar Disposal isn't level 6 yet. That means that Flawless, he's got a window of opportunity to make a gank count.
Now is the time. He'll have to take this opportunity before this mid lane does hit level 6. Once Vulgar Disposal gets that, he'll be able to escape pretty much any gank attempt as long as he has his ultimate up and it isn't on an incredibly long cooldown.
Right, and apart from that kill in the top lane, if you take a look around the map, Vulgar Disposal has a slight CS lead in the mid lane. Xperks having a very small CS lead in the bot lane, which should be equalized by the wave push. So not a whole lot happening, and it is the Clouddrake as well, so team is not putting that high of a priority just yet.
Flawless is here in the bot lane. Looks like he's going to be going through the bush.
Yeah, I say 2 versus 3. There comes the Devour onto Express. Flash away from Todot as P666 makes his way down towards the bot side. He lands the Banish Toss onto Jakobsen, who tries to get away. Express is lying dangerously low. Ignite is down. He flies away. There is the heal as well. Todot ignited down. Taken by Flawless. P666 now has to run away. Gets knocked up. Will be stunned. The good pulverize from Kawaii. P666 actually gets the kill. Back onto Jakobsen. Double kill from Flawless. Kawaii, can he get X perks? It doesn't look like so. The cow in a 1 versus 2 pulverize isn't quite ready yet. Flash away over the wall. A 2-for-1 in favor of Roskilde will be the end score. As in the top lane, Big Gang just dunks Jurgensen.
I mean, I don't know about that decision to put the Orianna in the top lane. That seems a little bit rough to me. That lane is so long and stretched out that you need to be able to cover a lot of distance or be able to stun out an enemy very reliably, and Orianna just doesn't really have that, and because of that is able to just get poked out by this Aatrox so hard. I feel like if it was the Cassided there, it still wouldn't be easy, but it would be a lot better.
It will definitely be. Just take a look at the CS. The Big Gang having over twice the CS of Jurgensen, which, well, that gap will be just marginally close, but now recalling, he should get some nice items. There is the Clawfield Warhammer. Big Gang is having some big guns right now, or the sword most likely, and he will be a very huge threat as we will move later on into that early game.
And a lot of this will be Roskilde's team fight. They really do need that Aatrox there. Aatrox is able to get that good AoE damage and is able to maneuver around the map pretty well and be a good engage. A lot of damage onto Vulgar Disposal in the mid lane, and there is P666.
P666 tries to go in for the gang flash away from Ben, but Vulgar Disposal has got no mana. He cannot continue the chase, and as a result, T2 cannot pick up any kills in the mid lane.
So right now we are sitting at 4-1 with about 1k gold lead, or about 1.5k gold lead, and that isn't a whole lot. That's less than 1 item.
Wait, P666 is going on to Flawless. That is not a good call. And Flawless solo kills P666 in the jungle as he's now chased down by Vulgar Disposal and Jurgensen. There is the Rift Walk. Ignite is down. Hero's Entrance comes through as well. Flawless, oh, the Shockwave just catches him out from Jurgensen. But Big Gun coming in, and 2 kills are picked up in return by the side of Roskilde.
Roskilde, they're really having a tough they're really doing so well here. It's T2 that's really having a rough break here. I mean, the moment that they try to decide to do something a little bit aggressive, they just don't really have the damage, the items, the health to do what they want to. And Roskilde is able to just go through and do as they please. And they had the ults available to them. They had that Galio ult. And T2 wasn't really able to track that. They weren't able to say, okay, so Bet here is, he hasn't used his ult. He's at level 8 now. And
as Jurgensen is just going to get dove under the turret. That damage is disgusting by Big Gang. But I say 4-0, Aatrox everyone as P666. He will be looking for a return kill. Banish toss connects onto a minion. This might not quite coming through now. The sad mummy will try to clear out this wave as Big Gang, he's just dropping the Darkin Blades onto him. And this Aatrox is so damn strong at this point.
I mean, and also, you know, you're looking at that refillable potion. Look at his health now. He is almost back at full health. A little bit of lifesteal. Here is Jurgensen, and P666 is there.
Yeah, they will be looking for a 1 versus 2. However, Big Gang calls and Jurgensen has to flash away. There is the curse of the Sad Mummy. Big Gang on 100 HP, no world ender. He might just drop here. It will be the shutdown landing into P666's pocket in the bot lane. There was a gang attempt, but by the looks of things, both Totot and Kawaii get out alive.
So that shutdown on Aatrox, it isn't the end of the world for Big Gunk here. Although P666 does have an extra 700 gold to his name, will be able to get a little bit closer to his items. Now does have his Stalker's Blade, but that's really it. Then he's only sitting on his Ruby Crystal, and he doesn't really have what he needs to provide that team support that he wants. I mean, this Big Gunk is so far ahead in CS that it doesn't really matter that he's transferred over all this gold.
And he already has got the Yunu's Ghostblade. Jurgensen is sitting on a Lost Chapter and a Stopwatch. Not even close. The damage coming out from Big Gang in this mid game, and maybe now in the top lane as Jurgensen, he's just gonna get cut down once again. Big Gang gets this solo kill, no questions asked, everything is taken as Volga Disposal is looking for a kill onto Ben. One Riftwalk will do, but he does not commit.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough call there, especially when you're going up against a Galio, because you're sort of thinking chances are he's going to have a little bit of magic resist and be able to survive through me, but he doesn't. He's actually gone for the Hextech Proto Belt. So Vulgar, maybe he should have known that his full damage would have come through here. And as far as Big Gunk in the top lane, he is able to engage on top of Jurgensen now without any sort of consequence. And Jurgensen has no way to deal with that. Even at this point, even if he sits under tower, he's going to die.
Well, there is no tower now as Big Gang has taken this solo first turret at 11 minutes, and he's looking for another kill to Jurgensen. There is the Infernal Chains, and that Orianna is doomed. Big Gang picks up his 6th kill of the game. P666 has to flash under the turret. There is the World Ender. Big Gang looking for a double kill. There is the Heroic Charge. Flawless will be the one with the kill credit in the end as Roskilde, they are stomping over T2 at this point and looking for a tier 2 top lane tower.
Vulgar is here, but he isn't going to be able to do a whole lot. He does engage.
He is stunned up to death. Bent getting the kill credit. In the end, Roskilde 5,000 gold ahead at 12 minutes. And they truly look unstoppable at this point in the game.
I think that they are. I'm going to say that this is their win condition. Get that Aatrox ahead and just be able to 1v1 anybody. And Totot hasn't been able to achieve the win condition that he needs for his team. He's sitting at 1 death and 1 assist, and because of that, he isn't doing the damage that he needs. He isn't, at this point, if he isn't able to take out Experts and Jacobson almost whenever he wants, then he isn't going to be much help in any of the other lanes.
Well, he does have a slight CS lead over a range AD carry, which I guess is good for Total, but when you look at the other side, it just doesn't scale up to the leads that Roskilde have built up. I have to agree, Total will need a lot more time and a miracle, to be honest, because right now looks like Roskilde will want to finish the game as soon as possible. The platings haven't even fallen yet, and the Herald is sitting in Flawless's inventory.
if he is able, actually no, he won't be able to get that out before the platings fall. They're just going to fall in 30 seconds. So he won't be able to get that massive goal lead, although he is engaging on top of Kawhi Durhis.
Well, Flawless is now in the jungle, but there is the Hero Centers and a surprise party from Roskilde Esports. Kawhi and Pitch6, they are caught between 4 members and will be dropping down as Experts is gifted over the double kill.
That is great. We don't get to see Tom Kench in the solo queue much because he does require coordination. It's a lot like Rise. We see him in the Pro League, but not so much here. And now Tatat, he's looking like he is in trouble.
He definitely is, and 1 versus 3 and a Herald flash away, flash forward, and then fire from Jakobsen brings back the Yasuo. Flawless gets the kill. In the meantime, Jurgensen died to Big Gang once again in that top lane. The Aatrox just rampaging through that lane. The Herald taking the bot side tower, and at 15 minutes in the game, Roskilde, the Rift is their oyster at this point.
Absolutely, and there's hardly anything that T2 can do against Big Gung. Look, there was an engage there trying to do something, and he lost 100 health in that fight. I mean, he is nigh unstoppable at this point. If he isn't being engaged on top of with all 5 members of T2, then he is going to survive.
And even then, you have got that World Ender, and I dare say that Big Gun could probably even survive a 1 versus 5 until that Hero's Entrance and the Abyssal Voyage comes in. As Volga the disposal, he has to flash under his turret. There is the Dark Blade. Big Gun gets the kill anyways. Toto trying to get anything in return. There is the last breath. He's going to get taken out by Flawless. Kawhi looking for an opportunity, will get devoured by Jakobsen, spat back in the middle of an entire team. Shockwave catching onto 1 person, flash away from Experts as well. Pitch6 brought back with the Infernal Chains. He's going to get run out under his own turret. The stun is coming through. Big Gun cannot quite find the kill, and Roskilde under the mid lane turret, finding 3 kills without any effort. 10,000 gold ahead. Big Gun looking for more. He brings back Jurgensen. There comes out this stopwatch, but it is not going to do anything, or is it? The flash comes out. Big Gun still on the chase. Jurgensen does make it out in the end.
Just barely, and Big Gunk is there watching. He's just going to clear this wave, and there's nothing Jurgensen can really do to stop him. Although it looks like Big Gunk is going to fall back just in case T2 does decide to drop on top of his entire force. His team has gone back to spawn to just get the items that they can now afford. So this is looking so good for Roskilde. I mean, they are checking all of their boxes. Get your Aatrox fed, have the Galio ready to ult every one of your fights, use the Tom Kench properly, as in using his ultimate to maneuver people around into prime places on the map, and also using that Devour to just get people where you need them, whether it's a teammate or an enemy. And right now Jakobsen is doing that to a T.
He is. The map movements from Roskilde have been impressive. They got that lead and snowballed them out of proportion as Kawhi. He's gonna get killed by Big Gang. Toto going in with that last breath. But there is nothing that he can do at this point. He will get taken down as another double kill going into Big Gang.
This sort of reminds me of watching a cat play with a mouse that had just caught. At this point, I feel like Roskilde should be able to just end it whenever they want to, and it's just a matter of time now.
Jurgensen taken down under his own turret. Pitch6 does not even dare to go in. Volker disposal actually sitting behind that turret. He has got the Rift Walk, which will provide him with some relative safety. But as you said, 11k gold behind. This game is no longer in T2's favor. They need to rely on Roskilde to make some sort of major blunder, and probably more than once, if they want to even have a chance of coming back in Roskilde. A strong showing is an understatement in this game.
No longer in T2's favor. I don't really know if it ever was. I mean, at this point, 22 to 3 kills. It would take an absolute miracle to even be able to take another tower at this point, it seems. I mean, let's look at Roskilde's towers. Have they even taken damage? I mean, it seems like only the mid and the bot lane turrets have taken damage, and that is less than 1,000 each.
A dominant game. I think it's all that we have to say. Big Gang in that bottom lane, just taking that turret. It is a matter of time. Kawhi doing his best to delay that process as the rest of the team is hammering away on that top lane turret. And a very clean game from Roskilde, I must say. Big Gang getting the leads in the top lane and the rest of the team snowballing as Pitchable 6. He could have been looking for engage, but no ultimate was available at the time.
I think T2 needs to learn from their mistake here and actually take a top laner into the top lane.
Yeah, Big Gang is legendary. Jurgensen falls down yet again. P6 looking now for a return kill. Hero's entrance is coming through, and the Mumu has to run for his life. Kawaii knocks away Big Gang. He will be the sacrificial cow. It looks like Big Gang is legendary, and the Roskilde, they are just waiting for the waves. 19 minutes into the game, 13,000 gold lead. A fed Aatrox, nearly everyone is fed, and now the Nexus stars themselves are the focus.
And they should be falling pretty quickly. The demolished procs are there. Big Gunk just has to smack it, although it looks like he's just going to focus on just getting some CS now. I think they're just going to be going for the dominant take here. I think they're just going to take out all the inhibitors and all of the turrets.
They had to wait for that bot lane turret, but at this point, I mean the wave, but at this point it doesn't even matter. The Baron is spawning in 20 seconds, the Dragon is as well, and I'm confident that Roskilde will be able to take both of these objectives if they choose to, because at this point, quite frankly, they can just reset and end the game.
It seems like they are going to be going for this dragon. It is going to be the Cloud Dragon. Actually, no, they just took the Scuttle Crab and then they are backing. So they're just going to go get the items that they can afford now, which should be pretty good. And then go into the next fight with even more dominance.
T2 will be looking to take that dragon, denying the perfect objective game from Roskilde. It is secured by Kawaii, but now Big Gang is coming through on that Aatrox. Can he land the knockouts? He finds once onto P6 and Kawaii. Tamkej is coming into the fight. Bent is on a killing spree, taking down P6 now 4 versus 5. Teleports coming into the base, and that surely is the end of the game. The next fight might erupt, and Bent is behind the lines. He finds a knockup onto Kawaii. He just bursts him down. The shockwave is going to be knocked away from by Kawaii, and Jurgensen has to flash away. Total deleted by Big Gang, who is legendary now. As Roskilde, they will be looking to close out this game one.
Big Gunk just continuing his legendary raid here, just destroying any hopes that T2 might have had of having a close game one and taking it in just 21 minutes.
Insane dominance from Roskilde. They got that slightly in the top lane. Their jungler flawless. He made some ganks in the bot lane, and then the map rotations with the Galio Tamkej just sealed the deal. And T2, they suffered a big loss in game one. So how do they come back into the series?
Well, like I said, you're going to need an actual top laner. There wasn't really any tank besides the Aatrox, and not Aatrox, the Alistair, and he is really only tanky whenever he's using his ultimate, which means that he isn't tanky all the time. You need someone to protect your team. Also, you need some way to dish out damage at range. And let's look at T2's team. They don't have any of that. The only range attack they have is their Orianna.
Right, and well, we will be looking at that as we throw it over to a very short break before the draft for game 2 to see if Roskilde will take this 2-0 sweep or if T2 will they change this strat and take us to game 3. We'll find out after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, relentless you survive.
Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment. Now is your time, so prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Rise, push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you. Rise. Welcome to the climb up, reach for the summit. Visions brave, the one false step lead the end. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your blood, go and take it. This is your moment. Take to the skies, go. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through heaven. They will remember you. It is you fight among the dead beneath the dirt. Or do you know yet? Or do you want it? And when the giants call to ask you what you're worth.
Welcome back everyone, we are just a few seconds away from going into the draft in the Game 2 after Roskilde Epic Day. Convincing win in Game 1 and T2 will be looking to come back into the series.
Convincing is certainly one word for it. I mean, it was just so dominant. They took the whole game in just 21 minutes, and it was something, it was 20 some odd kills to 4 along those lines.
Something like that. The Aatrox himself had 14-1 scoreline. Really good performance from Big Gang. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what will change for T2 for Roskilde as well, because well, some things are just bound to change, although they could go for the same thing, and well, maybe Game 2 will be slightly closer.
I think T2, they either need to ban the Aatrox or pick him straight away, because you do not want Big Gunk on that again. So keep an eye out for that. And also Tata, maybe he's going to try to go for a ranged ADC this time around. We obviously know he's very, very good on the Tristana, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that. And I'm hoping that T2 actually brings an actual top laner to that lane this time.
I've heard some rumors that apparently the Kassadin could have been a mispick due to the pro draft running out, therefore that would explain many things, I think. So hopefully this time we will see something proper. As taking a quick look at the bans, the Aatrox removed, no surprises there. T2 just not wanting Big Gang once again on this champion makes absolute sense after what we have all witnessed, which I think is just a straight up murder.
I mean, it was certainly something, and that's why I never like those people who wait until the last second to lock in their pick, because they'll end up messing something up, and then they have the wrong champion. But we are going to start off with Vulgar Disposal on the Kled. I absolutely love playing and watching Kled, so that is going to be a fun lane to watch him play against Big Gunk's Urgot.
Right, both of these laners known to be able to bully some matchups out, so how does it actually work? Urgot into Kled, as Urgot you are significantly more tanky, and Kled you've got that threat as you scale into the late game, so give us a quick breakdown of what we can expect in that top lane.
Urgot may be tanky, but Kled destroys tanks. He's able to get them with that bear trap on a rope and get them in close. if they try to escape, and using his dash as well, it's that two-part, anyone he intersects with, or the first person he intersects with, he marks, and then he can dash to them by casting it a second time. So if if Big Gunk decides to try to use his E to get away, Vulgar Disposal should be able to just follow right after him. And as soon as if Vulgar Disposal decides to run Conquer, as soon as that Conquer procs, is going to deal so much damage.
Alright, however, junglers, there's actually so many interesting matchups. Let's take a look at the jungles. Lee Sin into a Nocturne. So I just briefly mentioned in the pregame that P666 can play a Nocturne, a ganking jungler, and we talked about Flawless liking to play the Lee Sin. Now both the junglers able to make ganks happen, and they can be the carries, although Lee Sin, he doesn't really need his level 6 as much as a Nocturne does.
Yeah, Nocturne is a little bit less of a skillful, or a little bit less of a mechanical champion. I mean, Lee Sin, he has, you know, his skill shots, and you have to know the word hopping and things like that to really bring him out to his full potential. Whereas Nocturne is more along the lines of click on someone and they take a lot of damage. So I'm going to say that is probably going to err more towards the side of P666, partially because this is Division 2. I think that Lee Sin can be more impactful, but because these players, they're not as mechanical, is probably not going to do quite as well.
I'm just hoping for Flawless to prove me wrong, but your point does make a lot of sense. But I'm excited for Todo Tristana. He brings it out. He's had a phenomenal game a while back where he just rampaged through the team they played against. I believe it might have been Crater, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But anyways, he is playing that champion. Good things to be seen, and I'm excited for that.
And also we're going to be getting the Leona support. Kawaii Dur is going to be playing that. And Jurgensen is going to be playing Diana. So also, Jurgensen is actually in the lane that he wants to be in, as well as Vulgar Disposal. So that, you know, let's hope that helps them out a little bit there. If they can take this game, they'll be able to bring it into a game 3 and possibly take the whole match. But that's, you know, they got certainly an uphill road ahead of them. It would have been hard enough if they didn't have such a hard loss in the first game.
Definitely, and when you look at the champions on the side of Roskilde, they've got the Akali themselves and the Lee Sin. I will probably say that wrong, for I don't know why. Anyways, Flawless and Ben, they've got the potential to snowball, and we saw Big Gun use that snowball last game. Well, I'm looking to see whether Ben and Flawless can do the same, and if they can, then their champions will be absolutely terrifying to go up against once they pick up a few kills under their belt.
Absolutely. It seems like Roskilde is going for a more mid-game composition. You know, they have the Ezreal and Alistar and that Urgot. They're not really late-game champions, but they're not really early-game champions either. It's that mid-game where other champions are either starting to fall off or haven't quite been built yet. So I think this is probably going to be another pretty short game. If Roskilde wins this, they're probably not going to take any longer than 30 minutes. And I think if it does go much past that, they're going to have a really rough time because of Tot's Tristana.
Definitely, and Jurgensen is playing the Diana as well. So mid lane we actually do get an assassin versus assassin matchup. If you, well, Diana, she's kind of mage, kind of. I'm gonna call her an assassin for the reasons that that are obvious. So that mid lane is very volatile, what that means. And if any of the junglers or even the supports, Alistar and Morgana, both able to roam, if any of these people decide to pay attention to that mid lane and snowball that matchup, it can get out of control really, really fast.
I mean, Tristana is such a snowballing champion and a lot of fun to play. I mean, it's fairly difficult to out-farm her since she has an AoE on minions that she kills, and it's pretty hard to out-poke her since she can use that E as soon as you're in range and get some guaranteed damage on you, even if you immediately get out of her engage range. And she takes towers so incredibly quickly thanks to the combination of her E, that little detonating charge that sits on the tower, and also her Q, which speeds up her attack speed, which allows her to shred through towers.
Right, that is a great sieging tool. And also one thing that we didn't really talk about is X-Perk's Ezreal. Last game he played the Lucian and he really wasn't played around. The top lane and the general top side of the map stole all the spotlight, but he has been pretty good in the fights once that mid-game struck. And if Ezreal is known for anything, that is his 2-item power spike that hits around mid-game. If X-Perks hits that at a good time, I believe he will be a huge threat that T2 will have to square up against, and it could be just yet another obstacle to trying to force a game 3.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be pretty interesting for them to try and work around that Tristana. You have to just either shut her down so hard that she's not able to pop off, or end the game before she can get built. So Ezreal does have that capability. And also, you know, considering that we have some gap closers here, we have the Akali and the Alistar and the Lee Sin, who can all get on top of Tot. He's really going to have to watch that, figure out when he's going to have to use his ultimate and his W to disengage when he needs to. Because if X-Perks is able to utilize his kit properly, then Tot's going to have an incredibly difficult time just surviving in the lane.
He will be, and I believe that we are now loading into the Rift for a game 2 between Roskilde Esport and ELF T2. We'll see if T2 can go through and take us to a game 3, or will it look just like the game 1? Those are all the questions that will be answered soon. I'm just looking at the stream with the corner of my eye. It doesn't seem like we are in the stream. It should be in a couple of seconds. Not too much happening. Both teams just covering for now.
We are going to be getting into the game. Finally, what could be the last game of today.
It could very well be. And alright, well, we are in the Rift. Finally, I get the confirmation. And the level 1 looks exactly the same. Neither of these teams really fancy themselves with some level 1 invades. They will be happy to just start the lanes normally and play, well, from the minion spawn, because yesterday we have seen Tyne just attempt some invades. No invades today, just a straight up 5 versus 5 without any shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, none of the champions on here are really that great invaders. I'd say that Vulgar Disposal's Kled should be a pretty good one, because you can use the Bear Trap on a rope to sort of be like a budget hook in some ways, although it isn't incredibly powerful. And the rest of the champions on the Rift right now aren't really great invade champions, so I'm not real surprised to not see any sort of invade, although I am slightly disappointed. It sort of makes the beginning difficult to talk about, because nothing is really happening until we start seeing some invades. It looks like Flawless is coming into mid.
Flawless took the red buff into a straight gank mid lane. Ooh, the Sonic Wave just narrowly missing. Means that Jurgensen does not even have to burn anything, doesn't lose that much HP at all. And the gank from Flawless does not backfire, but does not net him anything either.
It could have been something, even if he wasn't able to get the kill, which chances are wouldn't have happened, then Jurgensen would have been very, very far behind in health. But it seems like Bent is able to get far ahead in health without any help.
The bot lane from T2 has so much damage, but Kawaii is dropping low. Overall, the flash had to be burned from Jakobsen, as well as the heal from X-Perks in return for Kawaii's Ignite. A good aggressive play already from the T2's bot lane.
And it looks like we may be seeing another engage in mid.
We could very well be the Sonic Wave connects onto the minion, and Flawless just gets out of the lane. He's constantly putting down pressure onto Jurgensen. He wants to make sure that Bend is in as good shape as humanly possible.
There was a ward sitting in that river bush, which is why Jurgensen knew that the enemy Lee Sin was coming. And it looks like now they're trying to set up an ambush on this Scuttle Crab.
P666 will come up. Red buff is available on both of the junglers. It seems that Flawless will try to get away. This Kylo is secured by P666 in the end. Band is looking for more. He throws out the 5-point strikes. He does not get any major damage in, and no kills going in yet, but T2 having a slim early gold lead.
Looks like Vulgar Disposal is having a fairly difficult top lane. Is certainly not an easy matchup. It has been knocked off of Skarl, but that is the great thing about Kled, is that A, you can't be one shot, and also you're able to get a big chunk of your health back if you play your lane correctly. But it seems like he may just be pushed under his tower for a while now.
He can, and it is hard to get your skull back without actually fighting the enemy champion. However, Zenith Blade connects onto Experts, he just arcane shifts away. Kawaii is playing that bot lane very aggressively. He tries to punish any positioning mistakes and make sure that Totod has as smooth of a laning phase as possible. Another one connecting. That is actually a stun onto Experts. He has to commit the flash. Jakobsen does get a double pulverized. Totod running low as well as Kawaii, but so is Jakobsen. No one drops in the end. Arcane shift forward from Experts. Heal committed from Totod. These ball lane trades are getting intense, but no one is dropping kills yet.
Seems like it's just not quite happening. If you look over in the bot lane here, or not in the bot lane, the top lane here, where Vulgar Disposal has fallen very, very low, and Big Gunk is trying to take advantage of that. But Vulgar Disposal almost has his scroll back up. Just one or two more minions and one good shotgun blast onto the Urgot might be able to get him back.
If Vulgar Disposal close to that rage bar, he needs to last hit his minions well and dodge those corrosive charges, because if Big Gang finds him, then it will not end well. If we take a look at the junglers, Flawless has tried some ganks in the middle lane, no pressure anywhere else. P666, he needs his ultimate and has been farming up the jungle fairly well, currently being about one camp ahead, or right now one camp only ahead of Flawless. And this early game is much calmer compared to the game one.
Certainly seems like it. Not really much of a gold lead on either side. Technically, T2 does have a 0.3k gold lead, but that is nothing that can't be fixed by just one laner backing and the other having time to farm. So nothing really too different about these teams as we go. But there does seem to be some pretty good dominance, I think, overall from the side of Jurgensen. He's ignited down in the first blood by Bend in the mid lane on the Akali. Perfect execution to finish things off, and Bend out farming Jurgensen, getting now the kill. Well played. And that is what I get for looking up at the top lane for a while. I mean, right now it seems like Roskilde is able to, even though they haven't, you know, this is their first kill and it's been a fairly slow game, they have had a consistent lead on the enemy as far as just lane dominance goes.
Vulgar Disposal now running very low against Big Gang. There is the fear beyond that, and Big Gang gets the kill onto Vulgar Disposal. Roskilde getting small leads in the solo lanes, but they do add up as they find themselves with over 1,500 gold lead.
You look at that, I mean, that is the start of the snowball that they're looking for. I mean, I won't say that Vulgar Disposal is out of it all, because Colette is such a comeback champion in many ways. As soon as you get that Tiamat to your name, you're able to just team fight a lot better, or just duel a lot better, because you have your auto attack cancel and whatnot. But he does not have it, and it looks like he's not going to be building it straight away, which is pretty interesting. He's probably going to be going for, I guess in this case it would be something like a cleaver straight away to try and burn through some of that armor that Big Gunk is going to be building.
Right, and now those two kills going through, as you said, Vulgar Disposal slowly working towards his items, only being able to sit on the composite. Jurgensen trying to go on to Bend in the middle lane, but who has the upper edge? The sustain from the 5-point strike from the Akali just doing so much work right now. As well as if you take a look at the CS lead, that is an over 20 CS lead currently for Bend's Akali. As P666, he now has got access to the Paranoia. He will be looking to make plays.
Now that he has that ultimate, P666's ganking ability has been unlocked. As soon as he is within range and has vision on an enemy, is able to just jump in on them, and also, you know, getting that nearsightedness on all the people on the map. That is such a powerful ability.
Definitely, and now Vulgar Disposal is just getting pushed in. Not too much is actually happening on the map right now. This game much slower. It feels weird considering how fast-paced the previous one was. Now some pings coming in onto Ben. We could be seeing a fight in that river. There is the Twilight Shower. They double sum with the perfect execution, and Flawless joins side. Flash away from P666. Ben goes in once again, and the Nocturne is cut down. Flawless gets the kill credit. Jurgensen has to flash under his own turret. He should be fine. And the third kill going in. Oh, there's a Sonic Wave and the Resonating Strike. Flawless picks up the double kill. He will not fall to the turret as Roskilde. They are building up that lead.
Big Gunk was just sitting over there on that edge, just waiting for the perfect moment. He had that Fear Beyond Death available to him, so he was thinking, if my team isn't able to engage on top of this as well as they should be able to and get the kill, I'm just going to get it myself with it, but I am going to keep this ultimate available to me so I can bring it back into the top lane and possibly get another really good kill. And it ended up working perfect. I mean, Akali is such a powerful champion. That 5-point strike giving her the sustain, the shroud giving her such good that invisibility is one of the best invisibilities in the entire game, since it even keeps you from getting hit by tower shots.
And yesterday we saw Coin have a great game on Akali, which looked very similar to this. He got some kills in the early game, and then once that gunplay hits, Ben is going to be an absolute monster as Jurgensen fancies his chances once again. Bot lane could be the next ignition point. 3 versus 3 could be on the way. A double knockout from Jakobsen will land. Flawless misses the Sonic Wave, and already the Unbreakable Wall has been used in the middle lane. Ben has to also commit the flash. There is fighting across the map, but T2 not able to pick up any kills.
It's pretty rough for them right now. I mean, 0 to 4, that is not where you want to be in a game against Roskilde, but you know, it is not the end of the world. I mean, the
ball lane is trading. Jakobsen is just bursted down by Total. He does not have the blast shot. There is the Dragon Rage. Kawaii is left to die. Flawless is looking for Total. There is the Mystic Shot going through the flash, but Total survives nevertheless. Jurgensen and P666 have joined the fight. P666 does not have the paranoia. He will be looking for experts. No flash available, and there is the kill. T2, they are striking back.
They have gotten 2 kills now. I mean, that is what I mean, Diana is a very good team fighter as well. Being able to use her ultimate to pull people in close to her is a lot, in many ways, like an Orianna ult. And that is such a high value ability available to her. And I mean, Tata's Tristana, we know, is incredible, and so...
Oh, look at the top lane. Vulgar Disposal is running low. The Ignite is taking him. He will just barely survive the Fear Beyond Death. Sorry for interrupting your point, but Vulgar Disposal is just getting bullied out in that top lane.
He is not able to do what he wants to there. I mean, and here we go. He had to back, but instantly the minions are under his tower, and Big Gunk is able to get 1 free plating off of it.
Actually, Kawaii is venturing very far into the jungle of Roskilde. I'm not sure if he knows that Flawless is right here. He will get spotted up right now. There's a Sonic Wave and the follow-up damage, and Kawaii is very much on the wrong side of the map. He will just try to run away. Paranoia in the top lane. Big Gunk is in a 1 versus 2 situation. He will get fueled up and taken down as Kawaii finally falls to Jakobsen. Jurgensen and Ben, they are trading blows. Level 10 versus level 8, and the perfect execution deals so much damage. Ben going back in with the shuriken flip. Total has joined the fight. However, he might have slightly overstayed. There is a flash forward from Jakobsen, does not connect with the pulverize, but Flawless is on a killing spree as he manages to secure the kill onto Total. Nevertheless, flash forward and does not connect the Q onto Jurgensen. He's still posturing around that Diana, but looks like the dragon will be taken as T2 they are looking for that top lane but won't be able to take the full turret.
So they have evened it up quite a bit now. It is 2 platings to 3, and with another wave coming in, they may be able to bring that down even further. But Big Gunk is coming. He doesn't have a teleport available to him. He is running exhaust, so it seems like this could be a actual tower take here.
Kawaii is trading with Jakobsen and Experts. However, he was there alone. The turret indeed has been taken, and Big Gang is looking for a chase onto Peachable 6. He has got no mana though, so there is no availability for that shot. The exhaust goes down finally, and Flawless is looking for the kill. Big Gang will be the one taking it. This Vulgar Disposal has to humbly go by under his own turret.
And the question is whether or not Vulgar Disposal decides to stay and defend his turret, or leave and try to get there back in time. If he leaves, then chances are, I mean, there's definitely going to be a plating lost, and there may be more. He's able to get a little bit of damage onto Big Gunk though.
Oh, there is a fear beyond death, and Vulgar Disposal is pulled back in. Big Gang getting the third kill of the game, the second solo kill in that top lane. As Roskilde, they are furthering their lead.
And that is a very good place for them to be sitting right now. And the platings have fallen, so now it is just a matter of burning through this last little bit of turret, even though Big Gunk technically was lane. Oh,
pardon that, coming up into the top lane, Big Gunk is already chunked down to low health. He manages to take the turret in the end, but will get shut down as in the bot lane. Toto jumps forward with that rocket jump onto Jakobsen. Ignite is down onto the cow. However, Experts is just dishing out the damage with those mistake shots, and the bot lane from T2 is forced to retreat. Ooh, there's
it doesn't look like they're retreating.
They definitely are not. Jakobsen will fall down to Kawaii in the end. The Misty Shock equalizes the kill. Meanwhile, on the other side of that, Flawless is on the rampage. Toto jumps forward with that. Oh, he gets the kill with the bastard and the heal with the rocket jump. He gets away. Meanwhile, Flawless is on a double kill already. Vulgar is also trying to get away up in that top side river. He is already demounted, and Ben lands the shuriken flip, goes forward and secures the kill with the 5-point strike.
So even though T2 is, or has been able to pick up some kills here and there and start winning some fights, it seems like Roskilde is doing a good job of keeping up with that and making sure that they are not falling behind here. Although it's a little bit concerning for them that Tata is starting to be able to deal the damage that he wants, and that was such a great play, having the confidence that he'd be able to jump in there with his W, dedicate his only form of mobility besides flash, and be able to know that he was going to kill Experts in time for him to W away into the tri-bush.
Really good play from Toto. He is getting those kills. As you said, Stormraiser now completed, but the gold lead for Roskilde is at 5,000 right now. Bent is dishing a lot of damage as Jurgensen. He might get run down by the Big Gang in the middle lane. There is the Fear beyond that, and he is pulled back in. Flash in. Fear onto Peachable 6. They might be looking for more. Peachable 6 is just cut down. He has to flash away right into Bent, who says, "Thank you very much for the kill. I will take it gladly." And the Herald might be the next objective for Roskilde.
Looks like for now they're looking at Kawaii Durhus and Tot though in that mid lane. If they can shut down Tot here and make sure that he's not able to get ahead, that would be very, very valuable for them.
It definitely would, but I am just scared about Bent getting more and more kills, and Flawless being now 5-0 and 5. It's part of so many of these kills on that Lee Sin. He is playing well. He maybe isn't making those flashy insect plays, but you don't even need them to get the kills.
I mean, sometimes just being a way for your team to engage and having the proper communication in your team that you need in order to make sure that they'll actually go in with you is all you need for a good tank jungle player.
And it has paid off for Flawless. He now has got that Black Cleaver, and 17 minutes into the game, Roskilde, they might not be as dominant as in game 1, but it is still very good. The 2-item power spike is completed on Ezreal. He still has to stack up his mana mune, but it should be a matter of a few minutes before that happens. And at this point, the mid-game fighting potential for Roskilde is intense, as Kawaii is in this top lane. There goes the Solar Furl onto Big Gang. He goes over with the Zenith Blade. Vulgar Disposal is trying to dish out the damage, however, he might get demounted soon. Big Gang is on half health. He gets stunned with the shield of the Direct. The Ignite is down. The Zenith Blade roots him in place. He flips over Vulgar Disposal, who flashes away from the Free Beyond That. The heal is committed from Big Gang, and the Paranoia is coming, and the fight is now in full swing. Jurgensen is chased down by Flawless, and Ben gets on a rampage. He's kiting around in that Twilight Shroud. Good, perfect execution, gets this down to 3 members. He is feared, though. There is the Dragon Swing, a double kill picked up by Ben. Vulgar is also trying to do whatever he can. He charges out and will be able to get under his side, or will he? Flawless goes in with the Resonating Strike. He's dominating as Kawhi falls down. There is the Demon on the Vulgar Disposal, and a double kill for Flawless. Toto jumps in with that Rocket Jump flash forward. He manages to get the shutdown in return, but is it really enough?
I mean, it certainly could be. That was a great fight for Roskilde. They were able to just tear through T2 bit by bit by bit, and that was just overall so many great plays where they were able to deal with every sort of disadvantage they were put at, and could just rush through and take out people one by one. You saw that whenever they were engaging on someone, they were engaging on them together, and they were just keeping poor Vulgar Disposal just down. He wasn't able to really do much, and they knew that, and so they just pushed through on the rest of the characters and then saved him for last.
And if we just take a quick look at the items, 30 seconds before the Baron spawns, Big Gang has completed the Righteous Glory, Flawless has a BS sword on top of his Black Cleaver, Ben is sitting on 2 items comfortably and is now opting into some defensive armor, Xperx is closer and closer to getting that Mura Mana, and on the other side the items don't really add up. Yes, we have Todot on 2, but Jurgensen still hasn't completed 1, and Vulgar Disposal has only the Black Cleaver and the Tiamat. So the damage disparity in these teamfights will mean that Totot really needs to pop off if T2 want to win the teamfights.
I mean, they are going to have to definitely figure something out there. I think it partially is their target prioritization there. Totot...
He might get caught out in that top lane. There is the Disdain. Free Beyond That connects onto the Tristana, but the rest of the team is there to help their marksman, and Kawaii will be the one getting the kill credit, but Toto does not fall, most importantly.
Maybe, you know, Big Gunk was getting a little bit over enthusiastic there. You know, he had that speed boost and he was just ready to go in there. He, you know, using that Righteous Glory as a engage tool, and you know, wasn't expecting for there to be a lot of help there for Totot, and that was, you know, a wrong assumption to make.
Definitely was, and now as the Baron has spawned, Roskilde, they are still the dominant spot, 7,000 gold ahead as Petrol 6. If he gets caught out, that is the Baron for sure. He goes in with a Paranoia, but Ben is dominating. The jungler is down for T2. Do Roskilde go to the Baron immediately, or do they want more?
That control ward was just sitting in that bush, and somehow P666 did not see it. I guess he just didn't
there is
go
the Sonic Wave, and Toto, he just barely escapes. 20 HP, he dodges away from the True Shot Barrage. The AD carry will just narrowly stay alive as the team of Roskilde will be laying siege to that top lane tier 2 turret.
They may decide to go for the Baron here. They certainly do have the damage available to them, and you know, it may would have been a good idea for them to do it a little bit sooner, since now P666 is up, but I don't believe that his ultimate will not be there, so he won't be able to engage using the Paranoia. So Roskilde should be able to have a good Baron if they play this properly, but because that Sculler Crab was there,
Solar Flare? Solar Flare is available for Kawaii. He throws it out, and Ben goes into the backline. There's a knockdown to Total. He's taken down. Big Gun gets the kill in there. Jurgensen in the backline cannot do anything. Flawless picks up the kill. There's the Fear Beyond Death. Vulgar Disposal gets one back, but it is not enough. It is too little, too late. 4th kill of the teamfight goes in as Big Gun gets the triple kill. Vulgar Disposal runs for his life. A quadra kill for Big Gun, and a full ace for Roskilde Esports as they turn towards the Baron.
Where is his Penta? He almost had it, but this was exactly what Roskilde needs. They should be able to take this Baron and just push so hard with it. They'll be able to take it back. I mean, a lot of them are at full health. A lot of them won't even have to back. And because of that, Poor Jacobson has to actually back off. Got pretty low, but is going to survive, not get executed. And that is a pretty convincing stance here from the side of Roskilde.
They might not have one lane snowballing hugely, but you've got Flawless on that reason. 8-1-11 has been a part of majority of the kills. Now Roskilde as a team over 10,000 gold ahead with a Baron buff, with an item advantage. They will be looking to close out this game with that Baron buff, and if not, then at least break open multiple inhibitors.
Yeah, I mean, if they just utilize this Baron buff correctly, they should be able to get a lot of value out of it. The next dragon isn't going to be coming up until it is about time for the Baron buff to be gone, and it is going to be a Ocean Drake, which would be pretty valuable for them at this point. So it seems like we're going to be getting a little bit of a 4-1 push here. Just send one person off to a lane, have them split push it in, whereas you have the rest of your team pushing down mid, and you need to have all 5 members there in order to answer it.
At this point, Roskilde, they are just securing the vision control. Jakobsen is looking for a Hex Slash. He will not find a direct engage, but Roskilde making sure all the wards are gone. They will be able to siege these turrets so effectively as Big Gang. He is looking to step into Total. He will take some damage, but the Tristana on 2 items, not a super scary threat yet as Total. He fancies his chances.
But with Big Gunk now in the area of Bent, you know, you do not want to be a Tristana near a Akali.
There's a charge onto Express from Volgo Disposal. Paranoia is coming out. They try to collapse onto the AD carry of Roskilde. Total is jumping forward. He will get kicked away from. And Pishable 6 gets the kill credit in the end. They get 1%, but is it enough? Fury on death landing onto Total. He Rocket jumps away to safety. There is a Sonic Wave and the resonating strike, and he is pulled back in. Big Gang is unstoppable. Volgo Disposal remounts in the middle of the fight. But is it enough? Is it too late? Volgo Disposal is taken down by Ben. Big Gang 1 versus 2 against Kawhi and Jurgensen. Not too much that T2 can do. Without the AD carry, they are just falling like card house. And Jurgensen is under his turret trying to just clear these waves. A 3-4-1 fight going in favor of Roskilde. And with a Baron buff, they will be looking to take at least 1 inhibitor.
And 1 inhibitor is all they need, and that is 1 inhibitor turret down, and the next inhibitor turret is going to be exposed.
It will finally be taken out now. Bent in that middle lane, taking good work of that tower. However, Total is now respawning, so Roskilde as a team decide it is not time to overextend. We do not want to give any more gold to that man than he needs, and they will just recall, take that Baron off, probably go for 1 more push with it. Or actually, I think it is running out. They will go for that dragon and look to reevaluate the state of the game and look to close it out.
They got that Scuttle Crab, which does give them that little bit of extra vision there, so they should know if T2 decides to try and take a sneaky Baron. But with 1 inhibitor open, that is going to be pretty tough for T2, since now they have to dedicate resources into constantly defending that bot lane. You have to push it up really far, and if you leave it where it is right now, eventually you're just going to get sieged out by the super minions, and you have to send someone back because your Nexus towers are getting hit, and so then it's a 4v5 team fight and things like that. Seems like Roskilde is now taking that Ocean Drake, so that is going to give them that little bit of extra cooldowns and such, to just give them that extra fighting potential here. Just icing on the cake, it seems, for them.
13,000 gold ahead, and bot lane is just pushing in with that super minion. Slowly but surely the 4-man stack will be sitting down in that middle lane, and at this point T2, they need to pray for a miracle. They need to find that one fight where they isolate one of the main carries early on, and it is just so difficult for them to do.
I mean, just breaking this offense is now the goal of Roskilde. They just have to get 1 little good pick here. If they can just manage to get Tot, or even just Jurgensen or Kawhi Jurhus, that is CC, that is damage taken away from them, and that could be all they need to break this defense.
Volker Disposal is sent to manage the waves down in that bot lane. The wave in the top lane is crushing in with Ben on the Akali. He now has got that death cap, which means his damage is amplified so much. And Roskilde, they are just waiting for the next Baron or a pick. They will be looking for that mid-lane turret now. Oh, Jurgensen goes into the backline. He does manage to get the move on, but he's immediately obliterated. That is 2 kills going in already in favor of Roskilde. Total in the backline. He cannot do anything. Flawless jumps in with that Dragon's Rage, picking up the kill. Kawaii tries to go in under his own turret for the safety, but there is no safety from Roskilde. The 4th kill coming through. Double kill for Flawless. Big Gang gets the ace kill, and with the full team of T2 dead, Roskilde will be looking to march it into their base and take this second victory for a 2-0 series win.
This has to be it. I mean, these towers are going to fall just momentarily. Yep, there it is. And now it is time for the Nexus to fall. T2, they staked all their hopes on that last team fight, and it was thwarted by Roskilde. Just such good target call out, such good prioritization, and they just took that last fight, was it 5-1, and could just run through the last 2 turrets and take the Nexus.
And a strong 2-0 series win from Roskilde. Game 2, not as dominant, still a very strong fashion. In a very strong fashion, they managed to close it out. Vote for your MVPs in the chat. The links are there. We will take a look at it just in a few seconds, and let's see like what even happened in this series. How did Roskilde have such a strong game against T2?
I mean, this is going to be a little bit of foreshadowing of who I think my MVP pick for the side of Roskilde is. Big Gunk was popping off so hard. I mean, the first game, 14-1. This second game, 12-4. And Urgot, you know, he gets good kills because he has that execute and whatnot, but 12-4 is still a lot. I mean, it was their ADC and support that were tied for least kills on their team.
Yeah, Big Gang game 2 on that. Ergo doing work. Game 1, I don't think I even have to say anything. However, also the person I want to look at is Flawless, because his jungle both games has been very clean. Yes, game 1 Big Gang's Aatrox kind of took all the spotlight, but game 2 that Lee Sin participated in 25 out of 33 kills. Only 8 kills happened without him being involved in one way or another, and Flawless, just a good performance as well.
I mean, that first game he had it pretty easy going up against an Amumu, and there was a little bit of a inopportune fight for P666 where he tried to bandage across the red buff wall and get on top of Flawless, who was able to just burst him down very quickly as Xin Zhao. And the second game, you know, we were talking about, you know, Lee Sin is more of a mechanical hero. Will he be able to get as much value as a Nocturne who has these point and click abilities in just one skill shot? And by golly, he did. I mean, 10-1-15, like you said, versus 3-8-5, and that's not to mention having 60 CS more than his enemy jungler.
And with that 2-0 in, Roskilde will be moving up towards the higher end of that Division 2, which will definitely help them with the points right now. So it is good for them. Taking a quick look at the MVP votes, Flawless and Big Gang are tied for the side of Roskilde with, I believe that is 4 votes. And then T2, they have equally distributed 2 votes each between everyone but Vulgar Disposal. And yeah, I think it kind of does reflect what the game was about. I mean, I not to say that Vulgar Disposal didn't do anything, because it is hard to pick the MVP on a team that quite frankly got smacked around by Roskilde. But you know, T2, they kind of tried. I would obviously go with totals because game 2, but hey.
I mean, if we do take a very quick look at stats here, Vulgar Disposal did have the most kills on his team and did not have the most assists, although he did have the least assists, because that's kind of Kled. Kled doesn't really assist people a whole lot. It's kind of his thing. But I don't think it's really worth hitting on him a whole lot. He tried his best, and apparently the Kassadin was a mispick, and because of that ended up playing into a he played into a matchup that was okay, but he was doing it in a lane he was not used to. So I wouldn't totally count him out, but I wouldn't put him as the MVP. I would say that either Tatat or Kawaii Jarhis would be the MVPs for the side of T2. Tatat did do fairly well in that last game, and in the first game, you know, even playing a Yasuo into Illusion had more CS than Illusion for most of the game, although he wasn't able to really get that lead that they were looking for on top of the Lucian.
Alright, just before anything, yes, a shout out to Flawless. He has been a carry. It's now been officially said. Are you happy? I hope you are. But let's see, is there anything else that you want to say before we wrap up this stream?
I don't think I do.
Alright then, guys, do not forget to join the Discord if you are watching the first time. The link is in the description, and follow us on Twitch as well as YouTube and Twitter. Don't follow us in real life, I'm pretty sure that is illegal. And also a quick shout out to a Serenity Gaming sponsor, Gamers Class, which is a tool which allows you to get good at League of Legends by following courses set by professional players. So check them out if you are interested. And my name has been Kachka, and I was joined today by the Let's See, and good night.